There is a place in Southeast Asia where the jungles are lush, the people are like family, and the land is something made purely from dreams. This summer, I went to the beautiful country of the Philippines. So the plan was to meet up with a couple of my friends and go to the Philippine Islands for 2 weeks. It was a pretty small time crunch considering what we wanted to do, but I know this was something I've always wanted to do my entire life. I mean, I would scroll through Instagram and see these beautiful pictures and videos of these tropical beaches and lush jungles and people just having a great time in the Philippines, and I'd be like, I gotta go see it for myself. But I never quite had the time nor the money to do it. But of course, eventually that changed, and I thought, it's really now or wait another year. So I called up my buddy Nico and said, let's go. And less than literally 2 months later, I hopped on a plane. After around 24 hours of traveling, with a quick stop at Seoul Incheon Airport, I finally landed in Manila and met up with Nico and Chaia, who arrived there the day before. And within a few hours later, we hopped on another plane to Cebu. When we first landed in Cebu, we got a brief introduction to the lifestyle. We saw the daily organized chaos of transportation, the busyness. One thing for sure was that the food was absolutely amazing. And seeing the waterfalls near our destination in Mobile was for sure a sight for sore, very jet-lagged eyes. Just the scale on this place was massive. There were no towering skyscrapers towering over us. There were no busy cities around us. In fact, the nearest city was 3 hours away. And I must say, I wish we stayed longer. For the next day, we explored more of the city and the areas around it. This was the first time in years where I truly felt disconnected from the rest of the world. We were so far from home. But honestly, we didn't feel alone. The people were extremely friendly and inviting. Mobile and the area around it is very touristy, but that doesn't mean that there are 5-star resorts and hotels every which way. It sort of forces you to immerse yourself in the land, the people, and the culture. And so the very next day, we woke up bright and early and headed off to our very next destination. We got our stuff ready and hit the road. We made a few stops along the way, not really paying attention to the time. However, this proved to be a huge mistake. So it takes around 3-ish hours to get from Mobile to Cebu Mactan International Airport. But we only had 2 hours. Our driver, bless his soul, put the pedal to the metal, passing every car we could. We were even going down roads that we really should not have gone down. But then we saw the unthinkable. Traffic. For every moment we sat still, the more anxious we got.
Traffic.
This happened to us.
We were just taking our sweet time in the morning.
This is the most stressful ride of my life. If we missed our flight, we would not make it to our destination and we'd be stuck in Cebu, and obviously our Airbnb reservations would be totally screwed up. So we had to make this flight.
We are seriously panicking right now.
Finally, we got out of the traffic.
NASCAR needs to sponsor this guy right here.
And the driver just went full throttle. We had only 5 minutes left until the plane leaves, and so we arrived at the airport and sprinted through. People were giving us weird looks and people were kind of going like, oh, you're going to here? Oh yeah, it's this way. They didn't even check our IDs or tickets. They're just like, all right, go. Within literally milliseconds until the plane left, finally, we arrived at the plane just in time.
That's just absolutely unnecessary and insane.
And then we made it off to Siargao. This place was like a jungle haven with beaches that were to die for. We met up with one of my remote coworkers here along with his sister. And the 5 of us explored all that Siargao had to offer. Well, some of it.
I might smash it, you get too close, that's when I let go. 120 the pedal, I up the level, my spirit is out of my vessel, I'm off the handle, the devil's all up in my bezel, that's heavy metal, and no one can tell me to settle. Yeah, don't jump this way, cause you might drown, don't build the up, but let you down, you say it's insanity.
There weren't many cities here as there were mostly small villages, but we got to see the very essence of what it's like to live in these communities. Everyone contributes, everyone has a purpose. If one doesn't contribute, the whole village is affected. It's not like where I'm from where you have everything readily available, you have shelter, you have water, you have food, just readily here. But in these communities, everyone is self-sufficient and everyone has to contribute. As we continued our journey through Siargao, we saw the highly Instagrammed naked island. Then we headed off to an island that tourists never really go to, Corregidor Island. It was such a blessing to see something that not many tourists really see. As you saw in the shot of Naked Island, there were just tourists everywhere. But Corregidor Island, there were just locals and us, and that's it. And unfortunately, our time in Siargao was coming to its end. We said goodbye to my remote coworker, and then we made it off to our next destination, and probably one of our most highly anticipated locations in the entire trip. We heard stories of sparkling turquoise waters, otherworldly rock formations, a vibrant nightlife, and just these stunning beaches. So we were really excited for this. Our first region was Coron. It was like the floating mountains of Pandora. It was unlike anything I've ever seen. The next day, we were off on another plane and made it off to El Nido. Here we stayed at one of the best hostels we have ever stayed at. Here we met people from all around the world. Germany, England, Paris, Spain, even Israel, Belgium. I mean, the number of people that I met in one day is just insane. Within just a couple days, we not only made friends, we made family. This was when I started to look back on the trip and see how far we've come within just a week and a half. We had only days left until we leave for good. I look back on all the struggles we've overcome together and the things we've seen in such a short amount of time. It was such a blessing to be in a remote place and to be amongst the friendliest people in the world and surrounded with what seemed like heaven on earth. And El Nido for us was the icing on the cake. It was like the perfect blend between every location we visited. On the way back, we had only one more destination to hit, and that was Manila. After 2 weeks of exploring the provinces, it was kind of nice to be back in civilization. Manila is very chaotic and it's very busy, but it is a very massive city. It's a beautiful city, don't get me wrong, but it has its demons. For instance, there was a very stark difference in class. Like the separation between upper and lower classes were very obvious. Since Manila is very populated and it's very congested, there were some blocks made out of aluminum and metal parts where almost 1,000 people could live in just one block, surrounded by skyscrapers. It's a very eye-opening reality of how hard people can have it, but despite that, they still find ways to enjoy life and be welcoming to strangers like us. It kind of taught me something about myself too. And I know this is gonna sound cliche, but it taught me to be grateful for what I have. And I don't mean that in a, oh, things could be worse kind of way. There are people out there who have almost nothing, but they are still happy. True happiness is not conditional to your circumstances. It's a choice. When I came to the Philippines, I had no idea what I was expecting. Like a big collection of awesome pictures and footage of the tropics, then having it just be a fun memory. But what we got instead was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, full of lessons, hardships, and also full of opportunities to witness a paradise not many get to see. And that is what made this trip very special to me. I want to thank Nico, Chaia, Jenel, Lukas, Silvia, Noel, Elena, and so many more people that we met on this journey. Thank you all so much. I would also like to thank the Cauayan Island Resort for having us there and having us stay in one of the best hotels I've ever stayed at, by far. Thank you all for watching so much. And if you want to see more travel, film, or cinematography content like this, definitely subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one.